are live.
Gentlemen, what is going on? Mr. Byron Lazine, Mr. Ricky Carruth, how you guys doing?
Pretty good, bro. How you doing?
I am doing great.
I'm doing great as well.
Byron, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm looking forward. I do want to, just before you get started, Dan, thank Ricky for doing this. I know Ricky cares deeply about the real estate community. And so coming onto this platform, the Broke Agent Media platform, and having this conversation, there's not enough debates, good debates happening in our industry. So this proves how much Ricky does care. And I appreciate you, Ricky, for that.
Okay.
That was very cordial. That was a great way to start this off. Welcome, everybody, to the great debate. Today we have Byron Lazine and Ricky Carruth. We are going to be debating free versus paid coaching. Both Byron and Ricky have been very public about their stances on the free versus paid coaching. Thank you, everyone, for the comments and for tuning in. So before we kind of get into this, why don't we set the table? And for those that maybe who haven't been aware of your guys' public maybe banter, let's set the table a little bit. Byron, do you want to start and kind of explain maybe how this came to fruition and, you know, how we winded up here today?
Would this be my official opening statement, Dan? Or
this will not be. This will
okay.
not count towards your official opening statement. This is more setting the table from your perspective as to why we are here.
Okay. The table is, you know, Ricky, like you said, has his free coaching program and has been pretty outspoken on specifically Instagram, hammering against, railing against paid coaches. Full transparency for me as we start this debate, I have paid for a coach the majority of my real estate career, let's say 8 out of 10 years, something roughly around that. And for even more full transparency, that is with the Tom Ferry coaching ecosystem. I've actually even had some others on top of that. And so I'm a big proponent and fan of paid coaching. Ricky and I have gone back and forth in some Instagram comments over time. And Ricky probably has maybe his perspective on that. So I'll let him give that. I did try to set this debate up twice and I canceled both times. One time that was Eric's and Matt Leonetti's fault because of traveling. They were going to moderate it before Danny Deals moderated it. And the second time I did get the real flu, influenza. So I know Ricky was about to bring that up. So I'd like to bring it up first. But Ricky, maybe you have a different perspective on how this came to be.
Nah, man, you said it all, bro. Honestly, there is no history. Really don't know exactly, where the history and banter really came from. All I know is I guess you didn't like how I talked about paid coaches, so you tried to have a debate, which I agreed to twice. I mean, the third time I was like, okay, just going to cancel again. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just, I think at the end of the day, man, it's a very, healthy thing to kind of get both sides out, honestly.
100%.
And, I think the bottom line is we come from two completely different paths in the industry, whereas, I came up and didn't have a coach versus you coming up having coaches, right? So that could play into it as far as what your belief system is around it, so on and so forth. But, look, here we are. So, it's going to be interesting to hear your perspective, let's say.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
All right. So with that being said, we are going to get into opening statements here. You will be timed. They will be a minute and a half long. As always, reminder here to make sure you are subscribed to the Broke Agent Media channel. We have a ton of blogs coming out. We have a lot of new shows, podcasts. It's going to be a really exciting few months here. So make sure that you are subscribed. Byron, you are going to be up first here with your opening statement as to why you think that paid coaching is better than free coaching. You're on the clock. Byron, let's hear it.
Yeah, and in order to dive into that, we've got to have some real definition of coaching and really separate it from training or content, I'm a big fan of a bunch of Ricky's content and his dissemination of info, which is training. I am a huge fan of a lot of the messaging, believe in a lot of it myself. But coaching is a completely different thing. Coaching is one-on-one guidance with accountability, right? And so I would ask Ricky when it's his turn, how is he doing just that with free coaching? A coach is in it with you. They're in the trenches. They're someone who has a little skin in the game on your results as you do per the service, right? We value what we pay for. I think back to a podcast that Ricky and I did in 2020, April 24th, 2020. On the 754 mark of that podcast, Ricky had said that 30,000 people signed up for his coaching program, but less than 80 people completed it to actually get that one-on-one call with Ricky. That was his words, not mine. That would be a 0.0026% rate as of April 2020. So I'd kick it back to Ricky. How do you actually define coaching? What does it mean to you when you say free coaching?
No, I like it, man. And a nice diversion, right? This was why I paid coaching, right? It's really, he asked me a question. So, I mean, listen, man, when that podcast happened, when was that? 3 years ago, 4 years ago,
Yeah.
5 years ago?
April 24th, 2020, the podcast that I'm referring to.
Okay. So, you know how much can happen within a 2-year period? Lots of things can happen, number one. Number two, you have no idea what we do on the back end, right? So all day, every day, I have coaching calls, one-on-one calls, and these are recurring, as well as I've got 20 certified zero to diamond coaches who also coach one-on-one for free. I'm sure you didn't realize any of this, right? Because, I get it. But at the same time, you got to realize that we are providing full service coaching, right? And we're making a huge difference, right? So at that point, there were 30,000 agents that went through the program. At this point, we've had 50,000 registered for the program. We did a survey in which 500 agents, around 500 agents, filled out the survey, right? What we found was 7 out of 10 agents get more listings, close more deals. We found that 87% have better time management. We found 75% read more. And we found 98.8% say they enjoy being a real estate agent more. More recently, we're doing events now where they're all free, completely free, right? We just went to California 3 weeks ago. We had 500 agents in the room. We had 500 seats, 500 agents. It was a packed house. We had 6 or 7 speakers. Not a single person. I didn't see anybody go to the bathroom. There was no trying to sell products. There was no pitch. There was no selling software. It was just straight value. I took a risk halfway through my speech and said, hey, let me take a risk here. If anybody here was going to have to quit real estate, right? Because I can't speak on the free coaching community, right? Like how many free coaches are there? I don't know, right? I'm not speaking for any other free coaches, have no idea what they do. But I can speak for my free coaching program, and that is the number one goal is to reduce the failure rate in the real estate industry, one agent at a time, through free coaching, right? Providing anything that I know that I can get inside someone else's brain without charging them is the goal to help reduce the failure rate, which is astronomically high, as you guys know, right? So out of the crowd, I said, is anybody here, would they have been a victim to quitting the business if it wasn't for Zero to Diamond, if you wouldn't have found my content, so on and so forth? 20 people stood up, right? It was kind of an emotional little moment to show, hey, I can go across the country and draw a crowd of 500 people, and there's a nice handful of people there that wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Zero to Diamond. So, I mean, just based on the straight results, the testimonials, the, complete, difference that we're making in the industry and we'll continue to do. I mean, I'm just getting started, bro. So and again, here's the thing with paid coaching. I did it for 4 months and realized this is a rip off, number one. Number two, so many agents come to my program from the paid coaching world. I hear all kinds of horror stories, tons, right? The one I hate the worst is they high pressure new agents into putting coaching on their credit card, right? Or putting them into debt in some kind of way over some, like, making them feel like this is what they need. And it might be what they need, right? I'm not saying it's not what they need, but for every single person, it's not what they need. And so that's where I kind of draw the line, right? Is where it's a detriment to the industry, right? Rather than, trying to really build the industry up, right? So, like, let it be known, like, paid coaches, there's plenty of paid coaches that I 100% love and respect, right? There's a lot of paid coaches that I don't feel like their business model is really doing the industry any justice, honestly. So, and, as far as me talking smack about paid coaches, you probably haven't seen that in a while. I grew out of that. Like, I matured since those moments. Like, I realized, like, people that talk smack about other people are only talking about people that are way ahead of them in life, which at the point, those coaches were ahead of me in life, right? I don't feel like they are anymore. Maybe not even on a financial level, right? But I've risen to a point where I could care less about that and more about how can I help as many agents increase volume as humanly possible. That's my only goal every day when I wake up. How many agents can I talk to today to help them increase volume with no expectations?
Ricky, would you say that your biggest issue with paid coaching is the lack of quality from these coaches that are putting themselves out there and that are charging money as a mentorship, or is that like your biggest issue, you'd say?
On the coach, right? Like, there's just a lot of scenarios where, the coach has never even sold real estate, right? And a lot of people say, oh, well, neither has a football coach isn't, like, some of those coaches never played football and stuff like that. Okay. Right. But at the same time, when I'm learning how to build a business, I really want to have a mentor in place who has accomplished what I've accomplished, has been through either going through or has been through what I'm going to go through, like, for real. Like Byron says, in the trenches, right? And it's funny that you say that because a lot of coaches have never been in the trenches.
It's a fair point. Byron, would you like to respond?
I would love to respond. I was hoping you wouldn't skip over my chance to respond on that. So, and Ricky, I'm still, and I appreciate this because I really want full transparency around the whole thing, the whole mystery of what, how can free coaching be pulled off? Because offering to work for free over and over and over again can inevitably turn into fraud. What do I mean by that? Is there some other bait and hook where, at least with a paid coach, you talked about ripping people off and hammering to get a credit card. At least there's an upfront, you're going to pay, and there's going to be a value exchange. I still am searching for your definition of coaching. Is it those one-on-one calls with the 24 coaches?
To me, it's all the above, honestly.
Because coaching, is coaching a profession? Do you have to be a professional to do it? The course, the online course, is dissemination of information, which there's a whole bunch of free information on YouTube. That's training. That is information. Coaching is very different from that. So I'm looking forward to your true definition of coaching. Do you need to be a professional to do that? How do the 24 coaches, profit off of this? And is it a little confusing maybe to the consumer when you do go on, and I don't know, Ricky, if this is still on your website, it was earlier in the year, right? Mm-hmm. And there is an opportunity to pay for a call with you, to buy some type of an NFT, to get a Zoom call. Is that coaching? Is that, labeled a different product? Could somebody say that's paid coaching? I appreciate that you updated me on the numbers with 50,000 people, because as of April 2020, 30,000. So a good sample size in with your data on the podcast had gone through the program, which I would say is dissemination of information, but that less than 80 people at that point had actually worked through it to set up one of those one-on-one calls. So from a 0.0026% success rate, what is now, having the 24 coaches, how has that success rate gone up? How many people out of the new 20,000 that have gone through the program are actually receiving these coaching calls with you? And I know there's a lot to unpack there, so I'd love for you to start with that definition of coaching. How does it differentiate from dissemination of information? Because to me, coaching is that one-on-one guidance and accountability with results, so that if you're not getting the results, you can say, I'm out of here, cancel my credit card, I'm moving on. But really in it with the coach.
If it was that easy, right? The cancel my credit card, move on thing. No, they're coming after you with creditors. So no, they do. I mean, I know a lot of agents who they got chased by creditors for coaching that they didn't want anymore. So, but no, in my definition, no, you don't have to be a professional coach charging for coaching to be good at coaching agents.
Is it a profession, and what's the definition of it?
Someone who can take an agent, help them increase whatever capacity of their business that they want to increase, right? Help them identify how to be more efficient, help them, like a true coach is going to sit down and dissect your entire situation, right? This is what I do for every single agent. Like, dissect your situation, right? Look at everything you've been doing, look at your 1 and 5 year goals, and help them put together a new plan hour by hour per week based on what your 1 and 5 year goals are. And then, like you say, hold them accountable to that. I mean, there's a lot of different things, right? Here's what I know. What I'm doing is working in a massive way. And that's something that no one can dispute. Like, I have thousands and thousands of agents who have messaged me telling me the results. It's something that's non-disputable. But as far as the coaches under me, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
He asked me like 15 questions. So, I mean,
all right. Well, but before we get into some of the questions that we have, my question, sorry to interrupt you, was just that what is your end game with the free coaching? I know Byron threw 42 questions at you there. I have just the one. What is your end game with the free coaching? Obviously, paid coaches to
die as the greatest coach ever by impacting the most agents.
Okay.
Right. The greatest coach in the history of the industry is not going to be the one that made the most money. Right. I had to break it to you. It's going to be the one that impacted the most agents, period, end of story. Right. That's my mission, guys. I don't know if you've picked up on that, is to reduce the failure rate. As far as NFTs that I put out for 1 week in September that didn't sell any of them and took it off the website, that's really a non-issue, right? That was something that I tried. And when you buy an NFT, you're buying an asset, right? You're not paying for coaching. I don't know if you understand the concept of NFTs. And as far as the coaches under me, right, they're literally becoming, I'm training them to be Rickies, right? The same concept, right? I built my brand around it, right? If I can help other agents who want to come up into the ranks and follow in my footsteps, I'm more than happy to coach them for free, how to coach for free, right? Whatever I can do to help. And what's that going to do, Byron?
Would you?
It's going to trickle down, Braun. It's going to trickle down through the industry over the next generations, right? Pouring my philosophies and the ideas that I have, I don't know, inserted into the industry, right? To try to make them loud and clear, right? Like, for example, like the contributions I've made to try to get inside agents' heads that your business isn't correlated to the market, right? Closings happen every day forever. I don't know anybody else talking this kind of language, man. Like, relationships over transactions, competition doesn't exist, business is unlimited. Like, I don't really know anybody really screaming this stuff. So it's a different spin on the psychology of the industry. And I just got to get it inside as many, and like the reason, like here's one for you. Like, I'll give you one. When I started coaching, right, I was charging.
What's changed?
So 6 months into it, I realized that wasn't helping the industry, right? I would have 300 people sign up for a webinar, 100 would show up, and 1 or 2 would actually move forward. And I said 300 people needed help. 100 really needed help, right? And here I am trying to have this gatekeeper, this paywall, right? To get to the information that I so badly just want to tell everybody, right? And so it was just kind of a gutsy move, but I realized if I really wanted to make a difference, I was going to have to get it to the masses, right? And charging for it was not going to be the path for me anyways, right?
Right.
And, yeah. And I do love the messaging. And you said you're training these guys to be Rickies, to be free coaches, so they can maybe even teach other free coaches. Why not just teach these agents to go out there and list homes for free to, what would be more valuable to planet Earth
No, and
would be
that's cool because
if we could increase home ownership rates. So why not you, Ricky, work for free and create more homeowners
I
okay,
do.
so I'd love to hear
that's
about
one
that.
of my strategies, right? Is to list properties for free. Like that's in the coaching program, right? If you go there and actually, dig into the content and kind of figure out what we're talking about here, like that is part of this strategy, right? And I mean, like your hero, your mentor, your Superman or whatever. He messaged me, said the same thing, right? He said, please stop coaching for free. What if I came in your market and started listing properties for free? Right? I said, bro, you sound like Blockbuster right now. And it was funny because this is all screenshotted. He actually did a speech on Blockbuster, and I'm like, dude, you sound just like the speech. Like, remember the speech? You sound like this right now, right? Let the market play out, right? There's plenty for everybody.
And so you're referencing Tom Ferry, who I do have a great admiration for him. And so, well, and I mean, I have screenshots here of you putting him into comments. So I do have a great admiration for him. I am, I like the proximity to power because he's impacted way more people in this industry than anybody. And the transparency around how he got that following is out there for everybody to see. But I'll just read a tweet of yours from November 15th, 2019. Other coaches work hard trying to figure out how to get your money while I'm working harder to answer all of your DMs. I'd question whether you're personally answering every single DM. There's certainly
every single DM myself all day, every day.
Okay.
For you to sit here and tell me that I don't, bro.
And so I'd love to have full transparency around the Instagram following. We can get into that if you want, but I'll finish this first. And trying to figure out how to, help you succeed for free. In the copy, you write, read to the end, #facts. I am working on the revised 90-day action plan that will start out with a 20-day challenge. Once you complete these 90 days, I will call, and this is on your Instagram, with you to discuss your problems, right? So once they go through that training course, then they get that call and create goals for the next 90 days. This is all free. Get ready to start 2020 off with a bang. Do not pay for coaching, all caps. Everything you need is out there for free. Do not do bold. Do not do TF. We know what TF is. Those programs teach you how to lose clients through high-pressured, awkward tactics. Don't let them scare you into thinking you need it. Do you agree? Comment below. There are the top team in your brokerage at EXP, Veronica Figueroa, right? Over 2,000 sales. Brilliant team. Number one team in sales at EXP for the year 2021. You just started your team from a solo agent. And most of the teams between you and Veronica included, have paid coaches. They value that type of accountability, that access to power, that access to other minds thinking differently than they are. Obviously, the big names in sports, Michael Jordan, Kobe, Dwayne Wade, Hakeem Olajuwon, all have seeked out Tim Grover when MJ and Kobe had the greatest coach for free being paid for by the Chicago Bulls and the Los Angeles Lakers, but they went out and paid Tim Grover. Tim Grover had kids at home. He didn't work for them for free. He's written the book Relentless in Winning. Anybody can go check those out. Tiger Woods has a coach and a caddy, pays his caddy 10%, and oh, by the way, pays the coach. The coach isn't doing it for free. So it's more about, hey, if you want to work for free, hat off to you. I don't believe that the transparency on the back end is there. that it is free. But if you truly want to do it, hats off to you. But there's nothing wrong with a business plan that the best in the industry, the best in your brokerage in Veronica, the best in their sport, the best in whatever, go out and seek out someone who's going to take them to the next level, give them access to more, think about things a different way, hold them accountable to their actions. I appreciate it, Ricky, because it was the most.
I don't know what that has to do with real estate coaching, but
it was the most truth
said,
that
man,
was
Tiger Woods
spit out on this debate. Yeah,
nice screenshots. You really got me there.
Well, I mean, these are your words, not mine.
No. It's I don't see where like all that sounds good to me. Like everything you said, I'm like I stand behind that. That's all good stuff. I mean, I don't see where what the problem is, honestly.
So why do all the teams that rank above you at your brokerage EXP, the vast majority of them go out and pay for coaching? Why don't they just coach with you?
No, and this is what I said in the very beginning, right? Like, I respect a lot of paid coaches. I don't know who their coaches are or what they're doing and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, like those agents, right? Like you said, I just started a team. We'll see what I do with it. Right? We'll see what I do with it. I was forced to be a single agent for 20 years, right? Because where I was, right, people join a team, they learn everything and leave you. Learn everything. Hold on one second here. Hey.
Yeah, take your time.
Get out of here. Now so I was forced to be a single agent for 20 years, right? So like and going back to saying, okay, in 2011, going through 11 agents, them coming and going and me saying, you know what, I'm taking away focus from my business on agents who are going to leave me anyway, or either stay and just suck the ever living life out of me. Let me go crush this single agent thing. And that's when I built up to 100 deals a year, did it 8 years in a row. Now, I don't know what that translates into as far as hard work behind. If I put that same energy into a team model where I could get to the ranks of 2,000 transactions or whatever these other agents are doing, right? But there's something to be said here, bro, that I closed 100 deals a year for 8 years, right? So again, man, like here's the thing. I don't necessarily know what your success has been, what you do, why you're here, what your intentions of the industry are. I know none of that stuff. All I know is that I was asked to come here to talk about my free coaching program against paid coaching program, right? I feel like there are paid coaching coaches that are great, right? I'm not against all of them. I'm against the ones that rip people off and teach them 1980s scripts around how to handle objections and turn the deal into a sale when really you need to be focused on the person, right? My coaching is focused 100% on communication. I don't know if you're trying to find some more screenshots, but like focused on how to communicate who you are as a person to
your prospects,
rather than like somebody that you're not, somebody that's just looking for a deal, right? So again, man, like thousands of agents have taken this mindset and turned their entire business around, right? So, and I'm not done. I've been doing this 6 years, right? And so I know there's coaches that have been out there doing it 20, 30 years and all this stuff. We'll see where I am in 20, 30 years, right? We'll see where I am.
All right, so we take a few second break here. Reminder, please make sure that you guys subscribe to the Broke Agent Media YouTube channel. Thank you guys all for the comments. We're monitoring them all. We are going to get to a Q&A section at the end. But I have a question for both of you to kind of steer away here just a little bit. Do you feel that everybody needs a real estate coach? And if so, why? And Byron, I'll start with you. Does everybody need a real estate coach? Is it beneficial for everybody?
Well, I think it's certainly beneficial for everybody who wants to reach a certain level in their business. When you say need, if you've got a great sphere, a great network, and you're in a really, maybe even a luxury market, and your plans to do 10 deals a year and you want to stay stagnant and that, not even stagnant, that's the business plan for you. And you already have that. Why would you need a coach, right? If you're just going to stay on the flat line, maybe you've built a business, maybe a book's been handed to you, you bought a book, you've earned a book, whatever. But if you want to grow and get better each and every single year. If you want to be around the power players in this industry, to see what they're doing, to catch a little inside baseball on what's working for the number one team at Ricky's brokerage at EXP, because she's in a whole bunch of paid coaching masterminds that I'm aware of, sharing her knowledge in those masterminds. If you want access to that and you want a coach holding you accountable for your proven results, right? A lot of these, now there's a lot of coaches out there that shouldn't be coaches. I know of some minor league baseball players that all of a sudden are real estate coaches and are charging people and probably shouldn't be doing that. I think everybody's fully aware of some of these coaches, but some of the ones that are out there that have proven results, where Ricky's talking about thousands of people sending him a message and all this, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people who have benefited for decades from some of these paid coaches in our industry and have built real 8-9-figure businesses off of continuing coaching, right? The CEO of all of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services personally coaches with Tom Ferry, for example, Gino Blafari. This guy is in an always learning mindset. I'm going to get better every single day, be a little bit better today than I was yesterday, taking notes, taking information in from everybody possible. And so does everybody need it? No, it depends on your situation. But if you want to grow, you want to be a learner, you want to get better every single day, you want your business to grow, then I think you should have one.
Ricky, would you?
Ditto.
Yeah. Okay, fair. That's a great answer. As somebody that's also in coaching, I definitely would agree with that. What qualifies somebody to be a coach, Ricky? The 20 or 25 people that you have that are underneath you, how do you qualify them?
It's a very long vetting process, honestly, right? Where there's all kinds of stuff, because I have to know that whoever I do decide to certify as a coach are going to go out there and treat the agents exactly the way that I would treat them, right? Whereas they're looking out for their best interest over their own, that they're really genuinely trying to help this agent get to the next level, right? Rather than what's in it for them type deal. So they have to be super dependable, disciplined, all the above, right? So there's a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's somebody that I feel like is really on the same wavelength as me as far as the vision of, what we can actually do over the course of a lifetime, right? To really take the industry in a more positive direction. In terms of the failure rate, right? I mean, honestly, I could care less about the free coaching, paid coaching thing. It's the failure rate, right, that I'm more focused on than anything. And what can I do to decrease the failure rate? It's really it at the end of the day. So, based on results, dependability, like the whole 9 yards. There's a long vetting process that I go through for each of them to make sure that we are on that same page, right?
Byron, what about you? What do you think qualifies somebody to be a real estate coach? Is it a deal mark? Is it just knowledge in the market?
I mean, I don't believe that you have to have been an agent to be a great coach. I mean, I did see some comments, and Ricky made a comment. I'm talking about sports. I'm talking about an industry where you've got people coaching people who never played the game. Doesn't mean they don't know the game. Doesn't mean they didn't study the game, right? Tim Grover didn't have the ability to play in the NBA, but he had the ability to hold likely the greatest competitor of our time, Michael Jordan, accountable. He had the ability to study that industry of NBA, our industry of real estate, so closely. He cared so deeply about the industry that he was a learner every single day. He got better. He got around the best and figured out the best practices to not only teach, coach, and train MJ to be great, but to hold him accountable. He didn't have to play in the game to do that. So what qualifies someone to be a real estate coach? They have to have gone through some type of, whether it's a vetting process or what I would consider a really significant training process to teach those core principles, right? If we're looking at some of the great paid coaching companies in our industry, they all have, and you know, if we think of the three big names, they all have their core principles. So how do you hand those core principles down and trust that that coach is going to be able to relay that information? That is going to be a long and, you know, a training camp, a training process to get them on that level. And to me, the next one is they've got to be committed to always getting better themselves every single day. They need to be committed to stretching the boundary of what's possible for themselves, studying the heck out of the market. They need to know it inside and out. They absolutely need to know how to articulate that, and they need to know how to hold that agent accountable and have a process to do it. So a one-on-one coaching call shouldn't be, you know, let's get in here and fly by the seat of our pants. Let's go through the process of how I'm going to hold you accountable and what you're doing to be accountable to it on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever that, setup looks like.
Very, very good. All right. So as we start to wrap this up, I'm going to ask one last question. We're going to get some live questions here. I appreciate you guys taking the time. Last reminder, make sure that you are subscribed to the Broke Agent Media YouTube channel. Ricky, where do you see the coaching industry evolving to in the future? And Byron, you got to keep your answers a little bit shorter here. We're getting a lot of comments. You're going on too long.
No, I think it's probably going to stay like it is, honestly. I think you're going to have this, the next generation of coaches come up. I think you're going to continue to have, the same business models that you have now. I think you'll have different people that introduce different business models, just like I did, into the industry. I think you'll find more free coaches coming up. I think you'll find unique business models moving forward, things that I haven't thought about, no one's thought about, right? So I think it'll be a lot of the same and a lot of new. I think the current business models will stay in place because, hey, it's low-hanging fruit, right? 90% of agents fail, so we got a lot of desperate people out there. They're gonna go where they can go to try to take it to the next level, right? And when they get desperate enough, then they're gonna go do whatever they have to do and pay whatever they have to pay to try to give it another shot before they quit the business. So I think it's probably going to continue like it is, and maybe we'll see some different variations, different business models come up, right? Hopefully, I can influence some future generational coaches to do it a different way and to share information differently and coach agents differently.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're really going to see anybody, and I'm still waiting for the answer of how your coaches are getting paid and whatnot, Ricky. I don't know that you'll see anybody truly coaching for free, because there isn't an agent in the comments section that would go out there and do their profession for free, myself included in that. Okay. There isn't too many professions in the world until you get to maybe a Bill Gates level where you're like, I've made so much money, I'm just going to spend the next 20 years giving it away. It doesn't exist a free coaching model for a reason. One, nobody is really going to work for free without some kind of sell-off down the road. And two, the coaching models that have been in the industry the last 20 years have proven to work. They've provided teams, team leaders, single agents with huge multi-million-dollar businesses, whether it's Ricky's brokerage, my brokerage, many of the brokerages in the chats, know people at the top of that brokerage that have made serious income. I know people are still razzing me, and I love it. Keep going on the sports analogy. Somebody said, this is not the Olympics. You're right. It's not the Olympics. They make, unless you're like, I think they were actually referring to
the length of your answers there.
Okay.
Byron.
Well, and so what I'm saying is you can make a whole heck of a lot more money in our industry than you can in sports, right? So I actually think in this industry, It might even be more valuable to have a coach in your corner to make that investment. It's a better investment than Zillow leads. It's a better investment than anything else you can do investing in you to be better.
I can't say that you can't and never have been in real estate to be a great coach. I can't say that that's true, right? I'm definitely not going to stereotype, but I will say that I do have a pretty strong belief in the fact that you've got the educational side of learning, and then you have the experience side of learning, right? And so you can go out and learn all this stuff, but it's tough for me to put my trust in someone who's never actually been on the experience side, been in those trenches. Like, I mean, definitely have learned from people who are not real estate agents. It's helped me in real estate, right? I mean, that's 100%. So I get the argument, but at the same time, I do have. I lean this. I'm 40% that I lean towards this direction. That yeah, it's true. There's people out there that could be coaches that never sold real estate, but man, that experience out of the equation is something you can't replace.
As we go through some of the comments here, a lot of people have been shouting Ricky out for answering his DMs and being truthful. And Alexa Hughes here said, I am a certified coach and mentor with Ricky's Zero to Diamond, and the impact we are making is incredible. Imagine good people that actually want to do good by people, as it disappears here. But those are two. Here we go. Imagine good people that actually want to make a great impact. So rare, but here we are. So I just wanted to give Ricky some flowers there.
And I believe that everybody in the comments section wants to do good by the people they're working with on a listing, on a buyer, a home shopper, an investor, yet we're all going to charge them a commission. So I believe you can do it. I believe you can have it both ways. You can care about people. You can really want to do good for them. You can have dinner with their families and still charge them for the service you're providing.
I think the bottom line is this, and I'm sure you'll agree, right? That Zero to Diamond has made a huge impact on the industry, positive impact in a massive way, and will continue to make a massive positive impact even more and more and more over the years, right? Because I'm just one of those guys, I'm never going to stop, right? I'm sure you'll agree with that, Bron.
I don't know who Bron is, but I do have a comment here.
It's the same thing as LeBron without the la.
I like that. I like it, but I'm more of an MJ guy. I see a comment here. How does Ricky respond to 400,000 followers? Ricky, you do have a lot of
225,000 on Instagram, right? And I get about, 200 messages a day. So
you've got 225 of them. And I'm just going to ask the question that I think many of us are thinking. Are all those legitimate, or did you ever pad the stats? Did you take the juice? Did you go Barry Bonds and put the needle into the Instagram account and at any point blow up the followers, inflate them? Because there's those options out there to invest in the followers to maybe, enhance the image. Did you ever do that?
Oh, 100%, right? So when I was at like 8,000, I pumped it up to 10 so I could do the swipe up, right? So you got to be at 10 to do the swipe up back then. And then I went up to about 50, something like that, somewhere around there. I probably I did a couple of those giveaways, added about 100, right? So I would say there's probably a good half of those are legit, right?
So in your estimation, maybe 100,000 followers you paid for essentially.
Yep. Somewhere around there. And too, it's not like, those people actually, they're real people too. Like they go there, they see the content, whatever. So yeah, I
appreciate that.
I'm not here to say that, right? That's not like a mark against me. Like I think everybody has probably tried that to a certain extent.
I've never tried it.
Well,
I've never
that's
tried
fine
it,
if you never tried it, but like people test things out, right? And so like I know other people, like I'm not going to mention any names, but like there's plenty of people that have done things like that. I'm not ashamed of that in any kind of way, bro. The impact I've made and sitting there for 2 hours every day answering DMs, no, the impact that.
So do you think though that is a little you know,
What am I going to do? Go
little,
on there and tell them to unfollow me?
no,
Ron?
but
I mean,
you said it. You paid for over 100,000 followers,
Mhm.
and so you've built up a persona that is
it's not really a persona, man. There's
is
not really a
fake,
big,
right? Is it
not
a
really a big
little?
persona. Like, I don't know what world you're living in, but there's not really a big persona between like 120 versus 220. That doesn't like put me in like this galaxy far, far away, bro. Sorry, man. That's not like a make it or break it when people go to my profile, right?
Well, it's certainly. Hey, here I am. I'm
I mean, if I
the
seen somebody that was like
savior
really
of real
helping the
estate.
industry with 100,000, I'm gonna look at him the same way as he has 200,000. And I mean, Dan just shook his head. Like, I mean, I'm sure everybody in the comment, like, I don't know where you're going with this or like how you know, this is all you got left.
Well, no, it's not all I got for sure, because when you're out there talking smack on an industry, you're paying for followers to bump yourself up and have an image that hasn't been earned, like maybe some of those paid followers, to advance time, as opposed to just going out there
If I really
and
wanted to,
earning it.
I could have 2 million followers on there. If I really, I mean, I could pay and have 2 million followers if I wanted to, right?
Well,
But I
I know.
didn't
I
do
mean,
that,
you've
right?
paid for over
This was
100,000.
years ago, man. Back when we did a podcast, back when I did NFTs on my website, all that stuff. You're talking about stuff that's happened years ago.
Yeah. Byron, I'm going to start answering some of the questions here as we get to the 45-minute mark. Byron, do you think people defend paid coaching? This is from Luca, Actually Agents. Do you think people defend paid coaching because of how much money they have sunk into it? 30-second answer here.
I do not. I wouldn't continue to pay for something that doesn't work. That's the definition of insanity. If you're in the right environment, coaching, in fact, will pay for itself. The amount of referrals and access you get to people in the same room that you would never get access to is unbelievable. I've grown my business over and over and over again. We have a team in Connecticut that'll do over 1,000 transactions this year. I wouldn't be in this position without being willing to say, I need to learn from others. I don't know everything, right? That's the one thing I learned when I went bankrupt in real estate by my mid-20s, right? And I know, Ricky, you've got a similar story. I bought 3 houses, 19 years old, 20, 21, during the GFC, during the mortgage crisis, and I lost it all. I got wiped out. And when I got back into real estate 10 years ago, when I got in on the sales side, I'm going to learn from people who've got more information than me. I'm going to be willing to get up every single day and be a little bit better, whether they sold real estate or whether they just have more knowledge than I do at this point. And I'm going to continue to do that through my entire career. And I hope every single agent on this or that watches later will take the same mindset. How do I get better? How do I get an edge?
Timer stops there. Hey, Ricky, this is a question that's been coming up in the comments, but I'm kind of also curious too. I kind of have the same mindset. I want to help as many people. I have my own team. I get a ton of DMs every day as well. It is hard to manage all that, right? Like, it is definitely hard to maintain your relationships with your family, your friends, your DMs, you're posting content, you're doing deals.
Yeah.
I personally get burnt out. Sometimes I don't want to talk to anybody, truthfully. How do you, and this is me just genuinely asking you, like, how do you kind of stay out of being burnt out? Because again, I want to help as many people as I possibly can too. But it does become a lot, right? Like, I'm volunteering. I have a lot of things that I'm doing to give back. How do you stay in like a fresh mindset where you want to wake up every day and continue to answer those DMs? And do you ever get burnt out? Especially if you're not getting paid for it, right? Like, that's just an honest question.
It's tough, bro. Honestly, and I do get burnt out from time to time, right? But I just kind of keep doing it, right? So I'll go through these phases where I do get burnt out here and there with it. But I'll just try to, when I go through those phases, I'll try something different. Like, I used to wake up at like 4 a.m. and answer them, right? And then I got burnt out on that because my brain was fried by 8 o'clock. So then, I tried a different strategy. I've moved it around. Like, whenever I get burnt out doing it one way, I'll try it a different way in terms of scheduling and when I do it, how I do it, if I'm going to break it up half and half through the day, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But, yeah, dude, it does get tough. But the thing is, bro, is that these are real agents reaching out with real problems and real questions. And I just feel so drawn, like I just feel obligated. You know what I mean? I feel like if I don't get called up every day, I'm literally letting the industry down. right? Like if there's one agent that needed this question answered that I don't get to, right? I just feel like I'm just I I don't feel good,
Yeah.
So I do my very best to get caught up every day. Sometimes it does turn into a 2-day deal to get caught up, but you're right, man. That's something you really got to you got to dig deep on, because it can cut into your family life, and it can cut into your getting burnt out with all the other stuff that you're doing and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you got to figure out where your priorities are. You know what I mean? And what really means something to you. What means something to me is helping agents increase volume, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to do everything in my power every day. All my energy is going to go into that.
All right, fair. The last question here that I have in the comments that I'm going to bring up is, Ricky, how would you say that you hold your students accountable? I guess opposed to some of the paid coaching strategies that they have out there. How would you say that you hold your students accountable, and how can people find you if they want to go the free coaching 0 to Diamond route with you?
So when I talk to an agent, I sit down and we really dissect everything and figure out what that plan is going to be, right? Every day throughout the week, right? During that meeting, we kind of make an agreement of when we're going to get together next, whether that's once a week, twice a month, once a month, depending on where they are and what they're trying to accomplish, right? And so we'll have periodic calls where we will be revisiting that and holding them accountable there. Many other ways as well, right? Digitally and stuff like that. But if anybody's interested in that, I mean, you guys know where to find me. 0todiamond.com, Ricky Carruth everywhere.
Yep. Well, I will say that I do appreciate the both of you doing this. I can definitely see, me personally, both sides of your guys' arguments from somebody that is in coaching. I do have my team as well, and I can see that the quality of coaching is incredibly important. Some people might not have the money to spend on expensive coaching, right? That's a big issue as well. And I also can agree with Byron's point where being a part of that ecosystem can do wonders for your business and holding you accountable. So both sides make sense. And I appreciate you guys doing this. Any closing statements here as we wrap this up? Byron, I'll let you go first.
And I would love to. Thank you, Dan. Absolutely. I like what you just said there, Dan. You need, whether you can pay for it or not, you need mentors. You need information. The dissemination of information is out there, right? Go on brokeagentmedia.com. Eric is writing some real tactical pieces that'll help your marketing today, or Tom Toole writing some real tactical stuff that'll help you. That's dissemination of information. I'm just still muddy. I'm still unclear on how the coaching works and how, and I get it. Thousands of people out there are saying it works. So it must, how those coaches are being paid. But at the end of the day, I so much appreciate, Ricky, you being willing to do this. I too care deeply about this industry. I really believe that you do. And us getting on this platform together here today and having the deep conversation, you don't see brokers doing what Ricky and I just did here today that have differences. You don't ever see this happen. And I really appreciate that you made it happen, that we did this together. It's something many people have thought of. Do I get a coach? What kind of coach? Should I shadow somebody? Should I pay? Should I not? It's a thought that many agents have had. And you and I just coming on here and doing this, I'm hoping opened up some clarity for some of those thoughts, and certainly opened up the conversation that this industry deserves. So appreciate you for that.
Ricky, any final statements?
I mean, guys, listen, this has been real fun. I mean, at the end of the day, right, the free coaching gives people another option. We'll see. I mean, let's do it again in 5 years, right? Like, the vision's there, right? We're going to make a huge impact. That's all we're really after. The coaches don't get paid anything, right? It's the same thing. It's the Ricky model, right? I'm going to train them and hopefully, help mold them into, maybe a little Ricky or something, who knows, whatever. But at the end of the day, man, like as far as like new agents coming in, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do pay coach? Should I buy leads? Should I join a team? Should I do all that stuff? Listen, you guys got to kind of go with your gut on what you feel like is the best for you. like there's been people that came to me and said, oh, I'm going to go do this pay cut. I'm like, great, go try it out. Let me know what you think. Right. Totally for it. Totally for people trying things out, seeing if it's going to work for them. Right. Because I mean, obviously, that route has worked for a lot of people. This route has worked for a lot of people. Right. So I think everybody's different. Going back to like, if everybody needs a coach, everybody's different. I never had a coach. So that might be part of my stigma, that might be part of my persona here, right? Why I just like, let's just give it all away for free, right? How can I tell everybody every single thing I know for free? So, I mean, that might be what it is, but no, I appreciate you guys. And, well, it was fun. And, yeah, fuck, dude, let's do a barbecue. Let's do this again sometime soon. Right. And, we'll have some fun.
I think what's amazing is people are commenting here who won in the comments, and everyone for the most part is actually saying that the industry won because of how informational and beneficial this was. So thank you both again for doing this. Last time, make sure that you are subscribed to the Broke Agent Media YouTube channel. We have a ton of really cool content that's going to be coming out and more things like this. Thank you both for your time. I appreciate it very, very much. And we'll see you next time.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, guys.